We're live. Can people see
We
this?
should be. We should be live.
If someone has a chat thing, write the word boobs with eights instead of the B's.
I like that that's your go-to to make sure that everything's working properly.
Yeah, I don't know. I just yeah, I can see it. I can see it, and I got the thumbnail.
But like as I was just saying to you, my dad would when I Doctor Who has been like around for me as long as I can remember, because when I was a kid, like it was my dad's favorite show, still is. And he would put me on his lap as a baby, and he would put on classic Doctor Who. So as I grew up, Doctor Who was a thing that like Doctor Who for me predates my episodic memory.
Can you even remember like what monster was in it?
Oh no, it would be like it wouldn't. This wasn't a one-off thing. This would just happen. So like my earliest Doctor Who memories are of the Invisible Enemy. I think of Tom Baker falling down the big pit.
Oh, that's lovely. That is a lovely story, but if any of them were the particularly shit ones, you could classify that as child abuse.
See, season 11 wasn't out yet. Oh, no, it's okay.
No, no,
Um,
I was just gonna say, do you remember Terror of the Vervoids?
I've never seen Terror of the
The
Vervoids. Well, not to my
the
recollection.
plant the
I know which one it
plant
is.
people that look like they have the plant people that look like they have vaginas for faces.
I always thought they looked more like knobs.
Really? Oh, yeah, yeah, so yeah, I suppose it's sort of strange Freudian cross between them.
The knob vagina monsters, yes.
Knob vagina monsters. Yeah,
Did,
yeah.
was that was
I'm sorry. I was just googling a picture just to like confirm.
was did you bring that up for any reason beyond they look kind of like vaginas? Because I was waiting for a point and then I was like, wait, was that it? I'm happy if
Oh
that's
no,
it.
that was just it. That was just some sort of unformed thoughts coming off the top of my head there.
But I remember.
Anyway, hello Jay.
Oh, hello. Oh, and hello, audience as well. Today we're back to talk about Doctor Who again.
there's people in the chat,
They're
and
saying things.
someone did my boobs thing. Yeah,
Someone did my boobs thing. Stewbag Full 2020. Um, so today we're here to talk about the Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, the most recent
and
occurrence.
one of the most ridiculously named episodes of New Who.
Really?
It's between that and Return of Doctor Mysterio, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that is quite an
Like
episode name.
that is quite an episode name. When I saw that, I was just like, what are they doing?
You see, for Night of Terror, it kind of strikes me as it feels like it's trying to be like campy old horror kind of a thing, which it isn't.
Which the yeah, it's not. It's a strange episode. It's sort of like a mixture. It's sort of like it's half trite, cliched, run of the mill. Doctor gets historical character involved with alien plot, and and this more down to earth, genuine portrait of a historical character in the vein of Vincent the Doctor. It was trying to be Vincent the Doctor, and it kind of fucked that up.
If you allow me to get really meta for a second, it's almost as if they stole loads of things but didn't understand how they worked, so they broke.
Yes. Yes, yeah. It's sort of self-aware, that isn't it?
I don't think it is self-aware though, because
Well, most of the good ideas that I'm seeing in this era of Doctor Who appear to be accidents.
it's a great meta commentary on itself, which is weird. Um,
Yeah, the Scorpion stealing Nikola Tesla.
so right off the bat, there's something that stuck out to me here as just like a how do you not iron this kind of thing out in your first draft kind of a problem. I tweeted about it. It was the fact that they called throughout the episode, and they had the Doctor calling Silurian weapons alien technology and alien weapons on Earth, which I don't understand
Yeah,
why they made that mistake. It's
because
so simple to get right.
because googling shit is too difficult for these people.
For people who don't know, the Silurians are not aliens to Earth, and in previous installments of the franchise where you have Silurians appear, the Doctor has explicitly corrected people who's called them aliens, going, no, they're not aliens, they're from Earth. And now, in this area,
They were here before us. That's
yeah,
kind of the point of them.
in this era, we have these enemies who we later learn have been going around stealing technology from other aliens. But one of the pieces of technology they stole was Silurian, which isn't alien at all and is like, ancient, like 100 million years old ancient. So I guess they time travel as well?
Yeah,
That's always been a problem in Doctor Who, but it doesn't mean it's not a problem now.
This is the thing with calling it ancient. This is the thing with calling it alien technology. I can kind of let things like that slide. I'm that sort of fan because I make mistakes like that in my videos all the time, and whenever I realise that, I'm always getting comments from people pointing out that mistake. So I've started to think that maybe when I make my videos about Doctor Who, I should just make mistakes like that on purpose, just to see just to fuck with people. Like say, Tom Baker was the second Doctor, or David Tennant was the 14th Doctor, and he played the Doctor between the years 1989
David Tennant was the first female Doctor.
Yes, David Tennant was the first female Doctor. Yeah, so see, I can kind of let that stuff slide, but again, it is the first draft thing. It's like, you should be putting a bit more effort into this, shouldn't you?
And it strikes me as, because they had like loads of different things that the aliens in this story had stolen, right? And like loads of it was essentially name dropping thing from Doctor Who. Like, didn't they say their ship was Venusian?
Oh yes.
So,
but then again, Venusian is like a general thing seen across sci-fi.
Is it not?
Well, as in people from Venus.
Oh shit! That's what that means.
Yes, Jay, that is what that means.
I've never put two and two together there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. See, it's an easier sci-fi name for an alien race to say. Like, you wouldn't call people from Uranus Uranians.
I think Uranians works.
Yeah, then again, I don't know if I've ever seen that in like a book or anything.
Call them analites.
Doctor Who and the Analites. That's the Vervoids. They're Doctor Who and the Analites.
I'll watch it.
Doctor Who and the endless Freudian imagery.
Please, someone fan art that.
Yes, please do that. Please, I want to see that.
No, but
for reasons.
Because they had like a couple of name drops in there of where they got their technology from. Part of me thinks that they just went through like, what's the Doctor Who wiki called, like Whopedia or whatever. Looked at
TARDIS Wikia.
Oh yeah, TARDIS Wiki, and when Star Wars has got to speak with Wikipedia.
Oh, Star Wars is Wikipedia. That is amazing.
But
that is the best pun.
It is.
I will fight people on that.
See, I've already forgotten the Doctor Who one. Was it TARDIS Wiki?
TARDIS Wiki, yeah.
I feel like they just scanned through it and found like some alien names and was like, oh, this'll do for us. And then put it in the script, and no one fixed it.
Yeah, that is probably it. It's just laziness.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not story breaking anything. You could have a mistake like that in a really good episode of Doctor Who. It just isn't in one.
It's just something for us who think about this stuff too much to fixate on.
To me, it's not what's making the episode bad, but is a symptom of the same thing, which is just sort of such a lack of effort for it. I'm assuming that you don't think it's very good. I'm not sure I've asked you yet. How do you actually feel about the episode as a whole?
As I said, it's half trite and it's half I see some sort of spark here. Because the thing that really bugs me is, why can we not have pure historicals? Is there some sort of BBC stipulation in place? Are there high-ups telling them that there has to be a monster in every single episode? Because this happened with Rosa last year, which I thought was a perfectly fine concept. You got the Doctor and companions go back and watch Rosa Parks' famous bus boycott. And but you got a really shit villain in it as well. And this happens all the time whenever there's any kind of historical setting. The monster in it is usually really lame and shit. And in this one, even more so, because you've got these beautiful little scenes between Nikola Tesla and the 13th Doctor.
Which
The
were
guy that
great.
plays which were great, yeah. The guy that plays Tesla is really putting himself into it, and Jodie's trying to sell it as well. Like, I haven't been a big fan of the 13th Doctor, but she seems really enthusiastic and really into it,
She
and they're
really
really
is
trying.
trying.
Yeah, she's really trying. But yeah, those were some really compelling scenes, and then it's really jarring when you just go to this alien stuff, which feels tacked on and completely meaningless. Like, I would have really enjoyed this episode if it had just been Doctor and companions show up, Nikola Tesla having a bit of beef with Thomas Edison, and it was literally just that for 45 minutes. It
Yeah,
would
I'd
have
be
been
totally happy
complete.
with that. Or
In
even
fact, I'd
just
be more.
sorry, go
In
on.
fact, I'd be more than happy with that.
And even more approaching a pure historical. They could have had it be Nikola Tesla found the alien orb thing that we see at the beginning,
Oh
and then
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a scuffle between Tesla and Edison, who both want to study it, and the Doctor's thinking, I mean, should either of them be studying it? This could, put things on a course they're not supposed to go down.
Yeah, that's true, and it would make more sense if Tesla ends up with the orb, because Tesla always has the. I mean, Tesla's kind of got this this kind of cult following on the internet, and this vibe of, because he's been played by David Bowie, so people sort of see him as this sort of
Yes, I saw that movie last night.
alien magician type thing. Oh, he's great, isn't it? Yeah,
It is.
yeah. I actually think Prestige is probably my favorite Nolan movie.
Having seen a few of them, I'm gonna have to agree now. Yeah, Prestige is great. It's really underrated.
Yeah, it's much better than Dark Knight Rises, which I fell asleep to.
I agree that it's much better than Dark Knight Rises. I don't think that's the controversial pick for films that it's the Dark Knight.
Oh, it would have been it would have been in
close.
about 2012. It would have been in about 2012. If you said you didn't like the Dark Knight Rises in 2012, you'd get your throat torn out.
But it's not very good.
No, it's not. No.
We have to send all the police into the sewer right now.
All of them.
Literally, no more no surface police. They're allergic to sunlight.
It's just shit. But yeah, the Tesla episode. It's like, why can't we have pure historicals? If the show seems to be hell bent at the moment on trying
Don't
to
say those words here.
Don't no. Sorry. Swear. The show seems to be determined to recast itself as educational. Something
Yes.
that back when Doctor Who was in its just an idea in the early 60s, it was originally going to be sort of semi-educational. That was one of Sidney Newman's stipulations of it. It was going to be a time-traveling alien takes some humans back in time to the past, and it's going to be educational. And Sidney Newman said, no bug-eyed monsters. Which, yeah. But now, they seem to think that Doctor Who should be very educational. It should teach people about history. So you've got episodes like going back to see Rosa Parks, and you've got these very just flat sequences where characters just go, but wasn't Rosa Parks this? And here's another fact about Rosa Parks. And you got that sequence where the Doctor's literally like drawing a spider diagram on the wall with all these facts about Rosa Parks. So it's like, if you think that Doctor Who should be educational, if this is your idea, let's do educational settings where we send our characters back to the past and talk to all these famous historical figures and learn things about them and teach the audience about them. Great, do that. Why the fuck do you need to tack on all of these really pointless shit aliens?
Well, it's yeah, I agree with that totally. It seems very tacked on, not at all. Because there was educational. There's always been stuff that you can learn from in Doctor Who, like Unicorn the Wasp probably gave people a good idea who didn't know who Agatha Christie was. Just off the top of my head, Logopolis teaches you what entropy is. But
you can learn stuff from Doctor Who. It's
Yeah.
just I wouldn't exactly cite it in an A-level essay.
Exactly. And plus, the Rosa stuff, I don't know about this because I'm not a historian, but I've heard a lot of people saying, and I've never heard anyone disagree, in any meaningful way. I've heard a lot of people say that they got the history very wrong in Rosa, and that it wasn't. It was a planned protest rather than a spur of the moment
Yeah,
thing.
well, yeah, I know. Yeah, I have heard that as well. Just Doctor Who is I mean, Doctor Who's a very basic surface level. It's got to be accessible for anyone from like 8 to 88. So I'd understand why you would like just sort of iron it out and give the basic GCSE level textbook dramatization of the historical events. But it's like, if you're going to do that, do that. What is the
Yes,
point in like scorpion monsters? It's just really frustrating.
it is really frustrating. And the scorpion monsters were sort of fine. You know, they
Oh
served,
yeah, sort of. Yeah.
but they were. It's the classic kind of too simple plot of they're there so that the heroes can make them not be there anymore, and that's the plot. Like
Yeah,
that's it.
like I was getting really into the Nikola Tesla scenes where it's because Tesla, he's culturally, his reputation has kind of exploded in recent years because he's got celebrity fans and a car
Yeah.
manufacturer named after him, and a very good film in which he's played by David Bowie. So it's like everyone knows Tesla, but they're not quite sure why, because Tesla wasn't a businessman. He was a scientist, and at the time, he wasn't really appreciated. So I was really enjoying those scenes where we properly characterize Tesla, about a man who's ahead of his time, but also out of place in his time, and he's not appreciated by anyone around him. And so that could be that's like some proper that's like a proper character you can focus on and develop there, and his beef with Edison.
And he got some
Kind
great
of,
characterization, like
yeah, he
better
did.
than most
Yeah,
of the characters in the story.
just run with that. Like, what the fuck
Absolutely.
is the point in the alien? It's like with Vincent and the Doctor. I mean, the alien in Vincent and the Doctor kind of served a bit more of a purpose in that, but it's
It
just,
was a metaphor.
yeah. It served more of a purpose in that, but the characterization of Van Gogh was a lot stronger in Vincent and the Doctor, because Vincent and the Doctor's fucking perfect. But yeah, why are we so scared of pure historicals, especially if the show, which is making a lot more steps into being educational again? Like last year, we had Rosa, um,
Yeah,
we had Partition of India, which people in Britain know fuck all about. So that's a really good idea to do that.
no,
And
literally
that's,
didn't know that that had happened.
yeah, yeah. See, we don't like to talk about our colonial past in Britain, so that's why that episode was a good idea. And Tesla, this is a very good idea because Tesla is really well known, but lots of people probably won't be able to tell you why.
Yes. Now,
And I like this idea of the companions going back and being disappointed by that. Like, I really like that scene where the Doctor says, "Oh my God, Tesla's lab. This is going to be something," and then she just opens the door and she's just like, "I was expecting more."
yeah, you get the very well. You may have noticed, right, that there was subtly woven throughout the narrative a message that the episode was trying to convey, and that was that Edison was a bit of a cunt, but he got all the appreciation, but
Yes.
Tesla, who was nice, didn't get any recognition.
That is true. It's kind of, I mean, that's the thing with Doctor Who. It can be quite reductive, and
Yes.
so Edison is this, big bombastic caricature who's like, "Oh, look, I'm gonna go step on a box of puppies."
Edison reminded me so much this episode of Not Trump from last season.
Yeah, kind of.
They were
Although
almost the same character.
apparently Edison was kind of like that in real life, which is why he ended up being the one who was really well known, because he was more a businessman than a scientist, and Tesla was more a scientist than a businessman. So that kind of makes sense. But the guy playing him was very over the top. Yeah.
I thought it was more of his script that was over the top. He didn't get a
That
single
too, yeah.
redeeming moment. He got like no, I think
Well, he
he
ran
learnt his
he
lesson
ran
in the
down the
end. You know?
street brandishing a gun at scorpion people. I mean,
Yeah, that's the only thing he actually got to do in the story, other than be there so that people can know he's an asshole.
and sneer at everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very the whole like Tesla didn't get any recognition thing, and he should be getting recognition because he was the one who actually did stuff. Was so overplayed when you had scenes of I could believe Graham doesn't know who Nikola Tesla was. I could even believe that Ryan maybe and Yaz don't believe who Nikola Tesla was either. But the fact that you're just having scenes where literally none of them know who Tesla is, which in this day and age is kind of a coincidence, but I'll buy it. And then they're all going, none of us know who Tesla is. Everyone knows who Edison is. None of us know who Tesla is. Shh, he's in the room. Oh yeah, but none of us know who he is. I get it, guys. I get it. He's the underappreciated one. And then at the end we have a scene of the 13th Doctor going, he was underappreciated. Like, cool.
That is the point of this episode. Let me explain the point of this episode to you.
Yeah, and it's like this is why people
It's
complain.
like, have they got a template? Have they got a template script that they just sort of insert words into, and that's
I
what
could
it
believe
looks
that
like?
actually.
That's the last thing the Doctor says in the episode. This is the point of this episode.
That happened in Orphan 55 and in Rosa.
Insert context here.
And this is why people complain that Doctor Who is preachy now. Because a lot of people, I see this one a lot in like online discussions. People will go, "Oh, everyone's complaining that Doctor Who is too political and too preachy," but there have always been political messages in Doctor Who, and I'm fine with political messages in Doctor Who. I like the Zygon invasion, but the problem with this is that first of all, it's so much more frequent and overt, as in like.
Well, it's just not very well done.
Yeah, I'm fine with good political messaging, but this isn't that.
Yeah, so am I. In fact, I love some good political messaging. Like, I think, what was her name? Harriet Jones, Prime Minister in Russell's Doctor Who, just sort of a bit character who shows up occasionally to be this sort of over the top caricature of a frumpy British politician. But this is like, it's so robotic.
Yeah.
It's like the end of the episode. Here is the Doctor to sum up the themes of the episode. Not Trump character. Not Trump character is just there to go, hey, I'm going to step on a box of puppies every 5 seconds or so.
This has actually got a lot of parallels to Arachnids in the UK. It's got the monsters with lots of legs. I'm going to open with the superficial. Then we've got the caricature famous figure that they're trying to show is bad. And then they've got the Doctor saying no guns before suggesting let's zap them with lightning instead. They have the no gun moment again. No guns, don't use guns, guns are evil. And then in Arachnids in the UK, let it starve to death. And in this, shoot them all with lightning. That's better than guns, because I said.
Yeah, it's just I don't want to be complaining about this stuff because I think Doctor Who should have political messaging in it. I think it should be used to like draw parallels to the real world. It's just the way this is done is so basic.
Yeah, it's almost like it's closer to being an infographic about a political idea than it is to being a story which communicates an idea through its events and themes. That's
it's just
how it comes across.
It's just like the next step down would be just flashing up a caption.
Yeah, a title card at the end that says, "And Nikola Tesla still is underappreciated to this day." But, okay, so this episode is very quickly paced, again, so you don't really get time for characterization of anyone other than Tesla and a bit Edison, but his characterization begins and ends at arsehole. Business arsehole. And this is a running problem I'm noticing in this season where you don't get enough time to characterize people properly. Particularly the main characters.
Yeah, I mean that's 45 minutes syndrome happening again, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's.
You don't really have that much. You don't really have that much time to spend around your characters when you've only got like 4 to play with.
The problem with that is though that there's like nothing in this episode is really that complicated. We get some good characterization for Edison, but that really only lasts maybe generously 10 minutes of the runtime. The rest of it is cramming in the plot, but the plot is really simple. But it's event then event then event then event then event, and then it's over. You could have a plot that simple told maybe in the actual key events of the plot do not take long at all. You could tell it much more quickly.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, it only really focuses on Tesla. I was actually thinking about the social political commentary, like Torchwood Children of Earth. That is very political. That's entirely political.
Yeah, and that's
it's
brilliant.
Told over 5 hours, and that's brilliant.
It's like, yeah, that's the kind of thing that people bring up when they go, "Oh, why are you complaining that Doctor Who is preachy and political? Hasn't it always been?" I'm like, yeah, but that's good though. I don't.
It's all the way it's done. Yeah.
It's like a warning sign. People start complaining that something is too political, not when it is too political, because maybe it isn't, but when the politics are so essentially superficial and obvious. It's one of those.
It's when you haven't definitely woven it into your plot that well.
Yeah. But we've got okay. I'm looking at my notes here. I'm looking at my notes to see if there's anything we missed. We've done how fast the plot.
I like the guy playing Tesla a lot. I found this episode compelling drama. I was actually paying attention to it from beginning to end, which my attention totally wandered in Orphan 55 by about minute 25 when, I don't know, there was a bunch of characters and they were underground and they were like bickering at each other about something. And the lady and the mum. I'm trying to remember what Orphan 55 was about, because I knew that I wouldn't be able to remember it a week later.
It was about climate change.
It was about climate change, except that didn't get brought up until right near the end.
We've got oh, was it just me, or did Yaz explain what a radar is wrong in like the educational, but let's explain things wrong when we actually talk about what they are?
Oh, I don't know. I know fuck all about that stuff.
If anyone in chat knows, correct me if I'm wrong, but Yaz described a radar as it uses energy, it transmits energy to figure out where things are. It's my understanding that a radar is actually sonar, and I don't think sound. I guess sound is technically energy, but it's a very weird way to say it.
Well, Jay, I've got a link to this article about chemtrails that's on Facebook, and it's very, very enlightening, and it can probably tell you that site can probably tell you all the science.
I'll give it a good read, and I'll absorb everything it says and become a conspiracy channel within the next 10 minutes.
Yes, I'm sure you will.
So we've got we've got. Oh yeah, there was a weird thing. Okay, so we've got the creatures that we haven't mentioned yet, which are the well, I guess we have mentioned the scorpions, but we haven't mentioned how they were introduced to us as these creatures that were like disguising themselves as humans. Like they were noticed because they were disguising themselves as dead people. And we the characters noticed, hey, that guy's dead. How's he here? And then they're these. But they're not actually those people. They're disguised scorpions.
This is the second episode this series has reminded me of the Unquiet Dead.
It's sort of a. I think it's different enough that it doesn't feel pulled from it, but it is a very Doctor Who idea. Aliens masquerading as the dead, and they don't really do anything with that either.
Yeah, this stuff does sort of go round and round in circles.
But you've got those guys, and
but yeah, those would have been fine on their own if it was like this alien. Okay, I'm trying to imagine a better version of this episode. Okay, so Nikola Tesla finds this alien device which brings people back from the dead, and he's sort of accidentally bringing people back from the dead, and they keep coming after him to get the device over the course of the episode as the Doctor tries to get the device from Tesla because, oh, you're not supposed to have that. Just take out the scorpion stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, that would be great.
Just remove that. That'd be much better. You'd have much more time to spend with Tesla.
And on the characters. I really want them to spend time with the characters. And on the message.
Yeah, just remove the scorpions. That's literally all you need to do. It's almost finished, this episode. I think...
Well, remove the scorpions and add stuff to replace it. Like the scorpions
Well,
is the majority of the runtime at the moment.
yeah, yes, and that's the majority of the problem. It's I'm getting like,
I know this feeling so well. It could have been
yeah,
so good.
yeah, no, it's just no, it's just like as I said I wasn't going to cover Doctor Who Series 12 at all because I couldn't really be bothered anymore, and then I got suckered back into it. But now here I am trying to come up with better versions of better
The,
versions of what I'm watching again.
to fix this episode, we're going to make one small change of taking the plot out and replacing it with a different plot.
Something better.
But there's I don't know if you noticed this, if you picked up on this, but this is the kind of thing that I'm like, okay, really though? They were being chased by the red eye guy who has got his he's got his lightning hands, and he's killed all of Edison's workers, and then he chases them into Edison's office, where they push a desk towards him, and then they run out like straight back into Edison's workshop, like the next room, literally a door away. There is a door between, and then the alien just doesn't chase them, and they have like a long chat, fully well known that the alien is there and it's trying to kill them, and for some reason it just doesn't appear for a while, being in the next room and having a desk in. I guess it just took a really long time to get around that desk. And then the next time we see it, it is chasing them. So it literally just waited for them to have their conversation. It's just like, guys, could you not write this though?
See, I like it when that happens because I'm literally just thinking that while it's going on.
Yeah, and it's like
Torchwood Cyberwoman because you got such. Oh, do you remember Torchwood Cyberwoman? Because you got such a small set to play with, you got time for the actors to stop and actually have conversations with each other while the cyber person is walking towards them.
Yeah.
She's still walking.
And it's such an easy thing to fix as well. Like literally just show them. Oh, they put they.
I can't hate it because it just makes me laugh.
Oh yeah, there's one thing that made me laugh. Like there's one moment in this episode I laughed out loud, and it's at a similar scene. It's at another chase scene where they're running away from scorpions, but the other one where Thomas Edison and Yaz are running away from loads of scorpions, and the scorpions are shown to be much, much faster than the two of them, but they need to get away, obviously. So, and the way they solve that is all of the scorpions keep falling over and crashing into things and running into each other.
Well, they do have lots of legs.
They do. But the part...
So lots of things to fall in. Lots of things to trip over and fall into. I mean, imagine if you had 8 legs. Or 6 legs. How many legs do scorpions have?
I think it's
I don't
6.
know. Please tell me, chat.
But the one thing that really made me laugh was Yaz, as she was running, there was like a cart of oranges, like a small tray of oranges, and then she pushes them on the ground, and then keeps running.
I enjoyed this.
It's in the middle of a road. It's a small tray
it.
of oranges in the middle of the road, and she knocks it over like, yeah, let's see you get past that. Scorpions that were just climbing walls.
So scorpions, these scorpion aliens, they do not like oranges or doors.
Oh, there's a deleted scene where we find out that they're allergic to oranges. It's like their vinegar.
Or like what's that thing that Cybermen
Gold.
Gold leaves. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they're
It sort of cuts them up inside.
Sikra. Let's call them not Ragnos. What was it? Sikra.
Yeah, which they remind me of Papa Lazzaru from League of Gentlemen.
I don't know what that is. I know what that is, but I've not seen it. I'm aware that it exists.
You should watch League of Gentlemen. He's just basically this weird circus performer who just starts kidnapping people and starts saying, "You're my wife now," and he's got like loads of wives and they're all called Dave. It's really weird.
That sounds like exactly the kind of thing I would want to watch.
Yeah, watch League of Gentlemen. Have you watched any Inside Number 9?
I have. I watched a bit of it. I watched the one where they were eating people, if I'm remembering that right.
It's the show. It's the show that it's the show that they made before Inside Number 9 was Inside Number 9. It often got compared unfavorably. League of Gentlemen often got compared unfavorably, I think, to Little Britain, but it's a very different beast. It's more horror comedy.
Yeah, the one I saw was very low on the comedy, very high on the horror.
Yes, it can be quite frightening. But yeah, Inside Number Nine is one of I'd say it's my favorite show at the moment.
I'll give it a
It
check
just
out
just
eventually.
does such weird things. But yeah, the sick the not Ragnos. Yeah,
So, like in Orphan 55, where the Doctor has sort of one key moment of characterization through the whole episode, and again, I kind of feel they missed the mark. Orphan 55, it was the whole, okay, this woman set up some bombs and she's screwed some stuff up. And the Doctor says to her, it's the Doctor's moment to encourage her to now you've done some wrong, but now you can do some right kind of moment. And she just says, you caused this mess, clean it up. I'm like, oh. This episode's moment of that for the Doctor was Nikola Tesla has just been teleported back from the alien ship where they tried to kidnap him, and he says, "Wow, what is it? I've written it down. Something. I've spent so long wondering what might be out there, and it turns out there were just aliens that want to destroy the Earth." And the Doctor is there, looking at him, listening to him say that. Right? What she says back. This is the kind of thing that defines the character, right? You know, this is the
yeah,
kind of moment where her being such a xenophile and loving traveling so much, this is where her character should shine through. Someone that she respects, talking about how, wow, pretty shit, the universe, huh? What she says is, yeah, well, Edison's going to be pretty jealous that they're after you and not him. Wow, that's where they went with that. You're going to be making that twat we met earlier jealous, though. Hey, I mean, aliens won't. Any character saying that would just be like, wow, that's pretty tone deaf in this situation. Guy just found out that there are aliens who want to destroy the planet he lives on. But don't worry, that rivalry you have, you're winning it at the moment.
yeah, yeah. Tesla and Edison, they aren't exactly that like that. Like, there's always that moment where someone is very overcome by the idea that there's aliens on Earth and the TARDIS is bigger on the inside. There was that moment for Tesla, but there wasn't one for Edison.
I thought they did that better than a lot of things in this episode, actually, because Edison's first thing was like, he looked at it and was like, how can I monetize this?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
And if they'd cut all of the more overt stuff where he was like, money, 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 then him walking in there and going, wow, this is good technology, I wonder if I can sell it, would have been really good to characterize him. That's the subtle stuff. That's the stuff that actually tells you about the characters and what people are like. That should be the focus.
Whereas this sort of overt, snarling caricature.
Yeah.
As I said, it's just very basic, very in your face, very very. It's just openly trying too hard to tell you how to react to it.
Yes, it's very clearly got a specific reaction in mind from the audience that it wants.
Yeah, when you can just assume that people will take that from what you do.
And they've got
You don't have to try that hard.
yeah, exactly. You tell the story well, and people will figure out what you mean.
Yeah.
Now, talking of things that are cropping back up again in this season, they tried to do a few more Darker Doctors moments again, didn't they? Did you get that?
Yes, I did. In fact, I tweeted out the quote as soon as she said it. Hang on.
I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, the doctor says to the Sixthra, not Rachnos people, when you die, no one will even know you existed.
Yeah,
It's like...
yeah. It's like what? And earlier in the episode, she was going, no guns, violence is bad, no guns.
Okay,
And
I
now
mean, that's the thing. This is kind of a moment of characterization for her, because at the end of, because this got pointed out to me in the Twitter comments by someone. It's the Sixthra have just threatened her and said, "Have you ever seen a dead planet?" And that's kind of what she had just seen with the end of Gallifrey.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's like a moment of anger coming out.
But you don't understand that. You don't like. That's something that a fan had to explain to you, and you're like, oh yeah, I guess that kind
Yeah,
of
exactly.
follows
Yeah,
through.
exactly. It's strange. Yeah, exactly. It's strange. They're so overt and so trying too hard with like Edison, but that moment is maybe it's an accident. Again, it's
You can't
again.
tell if the characterization is an accident or not. And that's the they seem to be trying to make the
It's so
Doctor darker this
strange.
time, but they've not. She keeps doing all of these darker things, but you can never figure out. You can never actually tell what the deeper motivation behind her doing those things is, and that's how you understand characters. With Edison looking around the TARDIS and going, "Oh, how can I monetize this?" You know exactly what's going on there, and not only do you really, you know, that tells you about who he is. The Doctor going, "Fuck you! You're all gonna die, and no one will remember you. You fucking cunt." So you're like, "Oh, okay." Why is what? How? Okay,
That's true.
I guess she said that.
That's true. Maybe my hopes that this is like going in a darker Seventh Doctor direction. Maybe it is built on bullshit, but at the same time, I kind of like that I'm looking. I kind of like that I'm at least interested. I'm like with last season.
We got a super chat just then, by the way, that I will respond to now. I normally do them at the end. Can you save the streams, please? I'm always late for them because of school. Yes, they're all going to my archive channel, which I think should be linked in the description. If it's not, then I've made a mistake. But it's called JXE Lord of Milk. Sorry to interrupt your thought there.
What was my thought? What was I thinking?
The Doctor is evil now. It's kind
Yeah,
of
the
maybe.
Doctor is evil. The Doctor is evil now, but I kind of like that I'm invested in where we might be going with this, even if maybe it is an accident. I'm going to be really disappointed if I get to the end of the season and the Doctor throwing the Master to the Nazis and saying all this gnarly shit like this goes nowhere. I'm
Yeah,
going to be really annoyed if I get to the end of the season and this goes fucking nowhere.
they've already kind of half fucked it by not showing us how the Doctor gets to this point and not showing us not developing her to this point, just going, oh, okay, new season, she's darker now. It's okay. But if they then don't do anything with it either, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I said, I'm kind of annoyed with like the fact that they've been so overt and on the nose about like Edison in this episode, and like they have been very coy with these dark moments with 13.
Yeah, they're
And
being
that does make me cautious in thinking that maybe these dark moments with 13, maybe they are accidental. Maybe they didn't actually think about what the fucking 13th Doctor throwing the Master to the Nazis actually meant,
yeah.
and
Oh,
the
that's what I'm
reaction
really
that it was
worried
going to
about.
instill, and the reaction that it was going to instill in people like me of just like, fucking what?
Exactly. We've
I
got
was just reeling from that moment, and I still am, like weeks later.
but one thing we keep doing in the stream, right, is talking about like, okay, how could this episode be good, make good, made, right? And I can think of it like essentially. I thought of this while I was watching the episode, and I think a much better way to do this episode's message, and it could work with the pure historical version we're pitching, or with this stupid Scorpion one they did, is to essentially have it so that throughout the story, characters keep getting in situations where, oh no, I need to take a picture of this, but there are people from the past watching. I'll just get out my smartphone quickly and hope no one sees it. And have Tesla, notice a couple of these things. And as the episode goes on, he sees all of this amazing technology and is disheartened by it because he thinks, wow, whoever invented this is years ahead of me in my work. Have it get to the end of the story, and instead of having the scene where the Doctor preaches to the audience of going, remember this man, he was good, have a moment where he clocks that their technology is so far ahead, seeing the TARDIS and stuff, that they're not from around here. He is like, okay, there's no explanation from this that I can understand, so is happy to accept, oh, this is a time machine, you're from the future. Not if you actually saw a real life TARDIS, I would not be, that would be a reasonable explanation of it to me, right? And then when he realizes, oh, you guys are from the future, that technology's from the future, and then you can have them tell him, yeah, and you helped pave the way for that. that's the way that's the way that it could have been done. Instead of preaching to the audience directly, having his little journey of his own where he gets sad and then happy again.
Yeah, that'd be much better. Yeah,
That's
because
what I want to see.
I like that. I like that the idea for Nikola Tesla's like terrorism or is quite a humble portrayal. Because as I said earlier, there is this culture that's grown up around Nikola Tesla of seeing him as like this seeing him as like this alien magician type person that you should be in awe of, when the actual fact of the matter was, at the time, he wasn't actually that well respected.
Yeah.
I like that it's going for a much humbler portrayal of Tesla. Yeah, your idea would be much better. All the version that I came up with earlier, which
Well,
is just
they're
the
compatible.
episode,
Let's
but
make it.
yeah, just the version without the scorpion people. As I said, is there a stipulation in the BBC where every episode has to have a shit monster in it?
I almost think that there must be at this point because I don't know. It seems like it seems like they're scared of doing something that hasn't got aliens in it. The closest we got was Rosa, and that had a time traveler in it who was shooty gun guy.
Yeah, and with that, I was thinking it would be much better if it was just a pure historical.
And even then, they could be. And if we do it the way that we were talking about, as in you could have the
Well,
technology
there's so
that
many
Tesla
shit
finds.
aliens from the last few years
Oh, right.
where there's so many shit aliens from the last few years where you can't even remember like what they are or what they look like.
The Stenza.
The what were the ones in Girl Who Died and Woman Who Lived? There was sort of a lion person.
Oh yeah, See, I thought they were going to be the creatures from Warrior's Gate, and they weren't. And I was a bit disappointed.
And the sort of gunk monster things from Sleep No More that were made from sleep dust in your eye.
I don't remember
They
the
were
Sandmen.
they was the Sandmen. Yeah, they kind of look like the shit monster from Dogma.
There have been a fair few of them.
Yeah, that's true. Um,
But that's
yeah, and it's
sorry,
it's like the Pating kind of look a bit like the what you call it those little monsters made out of fat that
oh,
Russell
the
T came up
adipose.
with. The adipose, yeah. There's just so many interchangeable monsters. It's just like this show can do anything. It can go anywhere and do anything. Why are we forcing ourselves to make the same episode over and over again, just in different settings?
Yeah, it's all very, very formulaic. I mean, this episode felt like it was all elements lifted from other stories. It was all things.
I mean,
that
I quite liked this episode. I enjoyed it while I was watching
I
it.
guess
As I said,
enjoyed it, but
it held my attention. Just I am kind of frustrated as I think about why couldn't we have had a pure historical for a change?
as far as I'm
Just
concerned,
for a
like,
change.
yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be. I feel like it's almost they're worried for the kids in the audience that they're going to be bored by it. But
Yeah,
as an adult in the audience, I was bored by it. Well, barely an adult. I technically am
well,
one, but
given
feel silly
rating,
saying it.
given the ratings, clearly the kids are getting bored by it.
Well, we don't know who the demographics are that are still watching it. But yeah, the ratings, frankly, aren't as big as they should be, considering how many people are talking about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, changing viewing habits, but yeah, it's like
Well,
it's like we've got 11 seasons where this sort of shit happens.
yeah,
I thought like the whole point of like bringing in a new doctor and new companions and a new showrunner should be like change things up a bit. So why not just? And as I said, you can go anywhere and do anything. Why not do anything with it? Why do we have to have a
feels
shit
like-
alien every week?
it feels like Doctor Who is being made by a formula with no vision.
Yeah,
It feels like there are no ideas behind this in the last season at all, really. It's just, hey, it feels like someone was handed a brief to make more Doctor Who, so they did.
Yeah, that's true. I do just want to grab onto these little bits of spark that I'm seeing, though, like with my thinking that maybe we are going in a darker direction with Jodie. I don't know. It's like, it's like, do you watch Parks and Recreation?
No, that's like really high up on my list though. That's
Yeah, I've been watching it a lot lately. I've kind of got addicted to it. And my relationship with Doctor Who is like Ron Swanson's relationship with his ex-wife Tammy, where he hates her and literally everything he says is she is a mean, manipulative bitch and she is the worst person in the history of the world and she's a demon from hell. But every single time he's in the room with her, he just sort of gets suckered in again and suddenly they're in this like deeply over the top like sexual thing where they're like grinding on each other and I'm just like that's what I'm like with Doctor Who. I'm always like crossing my arms. It's just like no, it's not good anymore. It's shit and I don't like it, but then I'm just watching one episode of it and I'm like getting suckered in and thinking maybe this is where we're going, maybe it's going to be the darker 13th Doctor, maybe it's actually good again.
what you're saying is you have Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, I'm sick, I need help.
I understand. I feel the same way. I feel at this point that I can't just stop watching it because I've been watching it my whole life and I want it to get better. Not I don't want it to stop. Well,
Yeah, I know. I can't help myself.
plus
I wasn't even going to watch it this year. I'll say that now. Like it just suddenly series 12, 1st of January. Oh great. So you're going to chuck a new season of Doctor Who at me in January when I'm still working through loads of stuff that I didn't never got around to finishing the year before. Like there were so many videos I wanted to make this year, but so I just said, you know what? I can't be asked with Doctor Who. There's other stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about Mandalorian. You know, maybe I'll bother making a video about Rise of Skywalker, but
I'd love
that's
to see a
already
video
passed.
about Rise
That's
of
already
Skywalker
passed
from you.
now. It's just like there's so much stuff that I want to talk about. Oh, I want to talk about the BBC One Dracula. I really want to do a video on that. And as I said, Inside Number Nine is one of my favorite shows. That's coming back for another season now, and I just sort of like had Doctor Who dropped in the middle of all of it, just
I,
and that always absorbs my life for fucking months.
have you considered doing like one episode, one video on it all at the end of the season?
I was originally going to do that, but I got suckered into it again. Now I've got to fucking make these videos.
I understand.
Yeah,
See, I don't know if I would still be watching it or not if I didn't feel like if people were if I didn't think that people were going to ask me what I thought of it essentially because now doing what I do I feel like I need to still watch things even just because I don't know if it's a weird like I'm not sure what makes the cut and what doesn't but there are a lot of things that I feel I'm just almost I need to watch for work essentially and this is definitely one of them.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I have been treating Doctor Who like work. I suppose to that. I suppose that's an extent where because you always get the same fucking comment when you make videos about TV show. Like you go in wanting to hate it, or you go in looking for content, and yeah, it's kind of true to an extent.
I yeah I want nothing more than to well as in like I want what I want to either hate it or love it. Essentially, if Doctor Who Spyfall made me a lot more upset than this has because I think this is god awful. I thought Spyfall was just not very good and very like flat, very bland. Nothing much to grab onto in it other than you know the monsters are pretty cool and there's like a plot there, but there wasn't much to it.
Oh, it was the Gallifrey stuff at the end
Yeah,
that just sort of flipped a switch in my brain.
I want it.
And,
I want
and suddenly I'm into it again. Suddenly I'm Ron Swanson grinding on Tammy.
I want it to either be like
Sorry
so
for
horrible.
grossing people out.
I want it
Sorry.
to either be like really horrible or amazing, because or you know, all good. But at the point where it's like it's pretty bad, but it's not bad enough that like essentially people who are less critical than I am, which is you know a lot of people, most people that are more happy to sit down and enjoy things, and will it will take something being worse than it will for me for them to go, no, I'm not into it. But the problems are still there. It's just you know the same level of problem won't bother most people.
It's watchable in its current state.
Yeah, that's my nightmare. Is it being essentially, oh, it's just watchable? Because then I want either
What?
everyone to come together and hate it or love it. Because I feel in a state where it's just watchable and people are watching it because it's just watchable, it has no reason to improve, and that's what scares me about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's giving me stuff to say again. That's something I can cling on to. Because last season I had fucking nothing to say. So it was just weeks and weeks of me just making a 7-minute video going, yeah, it's all right, isn't it? I mean, so I obviously had to add some bells and whistles to it, and silly stick drawings. Um, but this is, I mean, the improvement is that it's actually giving me something to talk about. They're actually like there are these little sparks of maybe the dark direction that we're going with 13 in it. There are these little moments, and with the whole Gallifrey thing, they're giving me stuff to talk about. So I'm kind of grateful to it for that.
Yeah, but that's a very backhanded compliment.
It is, yes, true. It's it's a tiny bit better, tiny,
Uh,
very tiny bit better.
I'm I'm not sure that I agree. It's like I think it's bad in different ways. Spyfall was better, but not good as far as
Yeah,
I'm concerned.
Spyfall is better. I mean, this one I enjoyed. It just had a lot of problems,
Yeah, and I
and
I watched it and it had a
it
lot of
did piss
problems
me
as far as
off,
I'm
and
concerned.
it did piss me off and caused the rant that I did earlier about pure historicals.
But I've got to the end of my notes now. Have you got anything else to add?
No, no, we're talking like an hour now, haven't we?
We
I
have.
just want another pure historical. I
Stu.
like them.
Stu. Do you want another pure historical?
Yeah, okay, go on.
No, that was my question. I was
Yes, I
just
do want another. I
getting the
do want
impression
another.
that you would
I
like one.
do want another pure historical. That and it just makes sense if they're going to continue doing episodes like this.
Yeah, it does seem odd that every time they go into the past, they happen to run into aliens.
Hello, Jay.
Hang on, is my sound broken? Is that better?
Oh, I can hear you again. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, good. I would say it does seem a little odd that every time they go into the past, they happen to run into aliens. Although that's one of those hand wavable things, when that's the show's premise. But
Just sort of follow the Doctor around. She's like a magnet.
yeah, and the presumption is they go to a lot of other places, but we see it when it goes wrong. But I guess it's always aliens that cause it to go wrong, which is a bit of a weird, I guess, message almost. But uh,
Yeah, aliens always make everything worse.
aliens, it's the foreigners. We have to look out for the foreigners to Earth. They cause all the problems. Humans are great, except Thomas Edison and not Trump.
Is Doctor Who institutionally racist
Towards aliens.
towards aliens? Yes.
Yes.
I think I want to watch the Aztecs again. I haven't watched that in years.
I'm not sure I've ever seen the Aztecs.
Oh, you should watch the Aztecs. It's brilliant.
I'll watch the Aztecs. But
Yeah.
I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Thanks for coming on, man.
That's
You're
all right. Don't you have to read the super chats?
I do have to read the super chats. I'm glad you mentioned
Do
that
your
because
job,
I'm
Jay.
not sure that I would have remembered if you hadn't said it. Right, so we've got the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. A classic. That's from Jebeli to Battlebush.
Yeah, that's the explanation for everything.
We've got someone saying, "Don't call yourself a Doctor Who fan unless you hate minorities."
I am a Doctor Who fan, and I don't hate minorities. Sue me.
I refuse. Um, and are you sure you don't just hate all minorities? I mean, you are a Doctor Who fan.
No, Doctor Who's like. Oh, this is the thing. I don't like this whole. Doctor Who's a very liberal show.
It is, yeah.
It's a very warm and open and friendly show about helping other people, and I don't like this angle that some people take with it.
What, that it's gone? Did it suddenly become liberal, essentially?
Yeah, it's just like it's there. It's there throughout the show's entire history.
Yeah.
The formula
Although,
is
it's changed over the years of what it means to be.
it has
be
changed
like
over the
that.
years, but the formula is Doctor shows up in place and helps underdog.
Isn't there like a or Kablam? Isn't there like a black and white Doctor Who serial where William Hartnell says the N word?
It wasn't William Hartnell. It was another character in it.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah, and that episode is a missing one. So it
I
literally
know.
got chucked in a fire.
I'm just picturing like some kid finding it and going,
Yes, this is a bit the past, isn't it?
hey, remember the past. Someone in here with a controversial take. The minute Matt Smith regenerated it was over. I think it's a bit more nuanced than that.
Well, for lots of people, they left when David Tennant regenerated. So
Yeah, and then a lot of people arrived.
that's
when that
even
happened
more
as well, though.
controversial.
But I think Peter Capaldi's era as a whole is not as great as Matt Smith's. But there is some great stuff in there.
It's got its problems, but I stayed watching and I was enjoying making videos about it.
Plus, the worst part of Matt Smith's era is like just before he regenerates. So, as far as I'm concerned, if it's about writing quality, then if
Something
it's
went wrong in season 7.
yeah, something went wrong in season 7. Someone said, why do you hate women? I don't know. I just
You hate women?
yeah,
When has that happened?
I guess because we're shit talking Doctor Who.
Oh dear.
If you
Why is Doctor Who an excuse to hate each other?
Doctor Who is about love.
Doctor Who is about love. It should be. It's this lovely, wonderful thing
There is
that I can complain about all the time.
the
But I
little
complain out
cliche.
of love.
I understand that. There's the cliche of, oh, you don't like Doctor Who season 11? Is it because you have a problem with Whammon being Doctor?
No.
Oh, okay. Wait, there are other reasons you can dislike something?
No, I just dislike it at the moment because of the writing.
No, that's not allowed. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to revoke your opinion card.
It's so hard to have an opinion about Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah,
Really
it absolutely is. Edison straight up shoots
I
the
hate this.
Scorpions. Sorry, go on.
No, nothing. Go on.
Edison straight up shoots the Scorpions. Shouldn't we lock them in a cupboard to humanely suffocate them to death?
Yeah,
That's a good one. I approve.
that's a more humane death.
We've got, can you save the stream? Oh, weird, that one went out. Yeah, streams are archived to channel JXE Lord of Milk. Should be linked in the description, if I'm not very much mistaken. Yes, linked in the description. So, yeah, if you want to catch these at a later date or any that you might miss in the future, then go check over there. Who in Doctor Who is the big gay? All right. The Doctor has already met Tesla in the Banquo Legacy, and the Maker of Demons, so this episode can eat pant for disrespecting the EU. I'm not familiar with either of those stories. Do you know what those are?
I think they were 8th Doctor books.
Ah. Oh yeah,
So it's expanded universe things.
Eight and Tesla would get on like a house on fire. In fire?
Oh yeah.
And then
Yeah,
we've got,
he's almost certainly been name dropped in, one of those long strings of dialogue that the Doctor says sometimes. I met Tesla once, etc., etc.
I went to a party with Nikola Tesla and Father Christmas, and we invented pasta 3 million years early. That's very Matt Smith dialogue.
Yeah, although Jodie was doing it quite a lot last season.
Yeah, so I felt like that was more of the Chibnall looking at what worked about previous ones. I never liked that dialogue. I always thought it was a bit silly, but...
Yeah.
Hey Jay, wondering who your favourite Doctor is. Mine's McCoy, also Kick Jay. Mine is... it's a toss-up between Colin Baker and Paul McGann. I like them both quite a lot for the Big Finish stuff. neither of them are
Oh
that great
yeah,
on screen. IMO.
yeah, both are brilliant in Big Finish.
And Big Finish is
Yeah,
like my go-to
mine's
Doctor Who.
mine's still 7, which, as I said, that's why I'm still holding on to that hope with the 13th Doctor that they're taking her more in a 7th Doctor direction.
Yeah, I would love to see that happen. I would love to see her get that level of characterization and nuance.
This finale had better be fucking brilliant.
It, I'm, st- we can only hope.
If this finale is not fucking brilliant, I am going to be so angry. And yeah, I'm probably gonna make another like 25-minute long Hellbent type video.
I can see that happening, and I'll enjoy the video.
Yes.
I'm excited for either the brilliant finale or the video.
One or the other.
Cheers.
Can't have both.
This one is I'm not sure about it, so I'm just gonna read it, and it will exist. Jay, as an alphabet person, can you tell me which is gayer? Faking a trans male or faking a trans female? Is that like building a trans person?
I don't understand that sentence.
Oh, is it supposed to say fucking? It depends what gender you are. That's yeah, that's how that works. Doctor Who used to be actually mean to Doctor Who actually used to mean a lot to me, but now it's the same poop from a butt that the rest of entertainment has become. I hope I die soon. Oh, that's sad, but I agree.
That is sad.
And that's it. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah. That's alright. Subscribe to my channel, people in the chat. Stewbag Full. Do it.
Yes, it is linked in the description. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.